everybody, and thank you for watching TonesTube, the meditation station for wellness. So what I'd like to talk about today is how to cope during difficult times. We all know that nowadays times are very difficult and coping during crisis is not an easy thing. So what I would like to do is share some wellness tips with you guys about how I cope and things that I do. For wellness in general, some of the things that I do is meditation. Now, I know I spoke to you guys about meditation in the Meditation 101 video. I spoke about the benefits of meditating and how you can filter your thoughts, embrace those negative thoughts, and embrace those issues and problems that you might have in your life, and how to move forward with them, how to absorb them, and let them go. Meditation is a very important part of filtering your thoughts and getting by during times of crisis. I know there's probably a lot of thoughts going on in your mind. You're probably thinking a lot. There's a lot of different things that you're thinking. The best thing to do if you're super ridiculously stressed is to let it out in some way, shape, or form. Meditating is a good one. Having a daily routine is a good one. When I wake up, part of my daily routine is to transition into the day, and how I do this is by doing at least 10 minutes of meditating. It welcomes the morning. It gives me time to think. I don't look at my cell phone. I don't look at any screens. I sit down in my meditation station corner and I relax. I transition into the day by thinking about things that are going on in my life, and I welcome 2 to 3 meditations. Sometimes I do quick ones, sometimes I do long ones, depending on how much I think I have going on. Now, when you first sit down, it takes a minute to relax. Once you start relaxing, then you can start thinking. Once you start thinking, those thoughts come. And little by little, you think about those thoughts. Maybe you think about what you can do about them and actions towards them, and then you move on to the next thought. That's one of the parts of my routine, and that's the first part of my routine. Once I do that, it's good to do something physical. So the next step for me would be to do some yoga. Some yoga really helps the body connect to the mind. It helps your body become more flexible. You do some exercise without overexerting yourself. Don't get me wrong, doing yoga and doing some power yoga is really great exercise, and you could definitely work up a sweat, and it's definitely good for you. That is another piece of my routine. If I don't do a yoga session, which sometimes I do skip it, I usually later on in the day, probably around 3 in the afternoon, go for a nice bike ride in the park. And being one with nature, being around nature is really a helpful thing. It helps you think more positively. It helps you cope a little bit better. It's really nice to be around nature, and it's really nice to see trees and breathe in the fresh air and look at that grass and really be one with nature, even if it's for a little while, and you're killing 2 birds with 1 stone because you're also exercising. So it's very good for the physical to do that as well. Going back to the meditation, when you do meditate, it's great to do the meditations for the mind. There is other ways that you can meditate where you're doing chakra healing. Chakra healing, in my opinion, affects the physical. When you're really worn down and you're really tired and you're really stressed out, there's these energy centers within you that goes through the center of your body, and you can balance those energy centers by healing and balancing them through a meditation. That's another good way to get your physical up and running. That is also a really good way to help cope with the mental and the physical. Another good thing that I wanted to mention about coping during COVID or coping during crisis or coping in hard times is jotting stuff down. Now, the act of sitting down and writing it down and getting it out of your mind with your hand on paper is really, really helpful. And one of the things I really recommend is if you have a number of different concerns, it's a good thing to journal it and write down those number of concerns. Let's just say you have 5 concerns. What are the top 5? Or 10 concerns? What are the top 5? Maybe you write down 10, and then maybe you pick 5 out of them, or maybe you pick 3 out of them that are most important to you, that you think you can tackle, or that you think would really help you, or maybe it's something that you're really, really worrying about or stressed out about. So if you pick about 3 of those out of the 10 that you jotted down on paper of issues or problems or concerns that you have, then what you would do is, once you pick the 3, write maybe 3 or 5 actions or bullet points underneath each one of these. So let's say you pick 3. Let's say one of them is you want to be grateful for, you want to be grateful for every day that you're given, which is something really good to do. It's a really good practice. Write things of how you could be grateful. I can be grateful by thanking God, or thanking the universe, or thanking yourself for these 3 things. I don't know. Maybe you have a concern where you're worried about going outside due to what's going on in the world. Write it down and write things that you can do about it. You can go outside by taking precautionary measures, because the more that you fear these things and you don't do them, or you don't do anything about them, the bigger they will become to you, and the more effect they will have on you, and it will make things worse. It'll make matters worse. So write down the things that you could do about it, and then you start feeling that you have a sense of control. So let's just say, for example, I don't want to go outside. I don't want to go to the grocery store because there's people there, right? And it's a really messed up time to be going to a place where there's a lot of people. I mean, it's happened to me. So what can you do about it? Well, you can wear disposable gloves when you go out. You could wear a mask when you go out, which you should do anyway, due to coronavirus. Just be super ridiculously careful. Bring hand sanitizer with you. Leave it in your car. Wear disposable gloves. When you're in the grocery store, do not go near people. Stay at least 6 feet away from them. Follow those recommendations. When you're going down the aisles, make sure you stay away. I've even gone to the extent of holding my breath when I'm walking by somebody. It's happened. I've done it. In addition to that, shop and just be aware. Be aware of your surroundings. And once you leave the grocery store, you can take off those disposable gloves and throw them in the garbage. You go up in your car, you get your hand sanitizer, you sanitize, and you go home. Now, once you go home, you wash your hands. Be smart about it. Maybe take off your clothes and have a change of clothes. Maybe wash those clothes. My point is, take actions in the direction of what you want to do, and then you'll feel like you have control in your world. Once you jot down those 3 or 4 things that you could do about your issues or your problems or your concerns, once you start taking action, you will start to feel like you are in control. You are in control of your problem, your issue, your concern. You are in control of your world. So it's really a good practice. So try it. So journaling is a really good one. Having a routine is a really good one. Being one with nature is a really good one. We said exercise was a really good one. Any type of exercise will do, as long as you're active. One that's been getting me by lately, guys, is putting on some happy, cheerful music. Or maybe watching a funny show on TV. But, having that daily routine is really important. Okay, so also, obviously, what you're putting in your body, as far as your nutrition, as far as what you're eating, that all affects your mental health. It all does. For example, if you're eating carrots and celery and salad, you're going to feel like you're more healthy versus if you're eating French fries, hamburgers, and Twinkies. So I'm just using that as the example. That's just ways that you can do things differently to have your body perform better, to in turn have your mind perform better. Also, keep in mind that whatever you feed your mind is whatever you're going to be thinking about. And a good example here is if you're in front of the television and you're watching coronavirus updates 24/7. Now, if you're sitting and watching coronavirus updates 24/7, your mind is going to start going into overload mode, and all you're going to be thinking about is dying, coronavirus, and how many more people have it that day, and quarantining and being sick, versus something like going on YouTube and taking a tour to a forest. 2 totally different things that you're feeding your mind, and 2 totally different outcomes. So understand, of course you want to be updated. Of course you want to know about COVID, Corona updates, and all that stuff, because it's better to be in the know, of course. But if you're feeding your brain that information 24/7, it's really, I don't think, healthy for you, because all you're going to be thinking about is that. What you feed your brain is what you're going to give your body, and it's how you're going to feel. Don't let stress be a killer, guys, because stress could be a killer. So these are ways to cope. These are things to do that you can help yourself. Read a book. Get back into hobbies. Spend times with your family. I'm sure you have a closet full of Monopoly games and board games. It's a great time to whip those out, sit down with the fam, and do that. Guys, this is a time that's given to us that we've always kind of wished for. So I hope to God, and I hope that you're healthy and you're safe and you're with your family. Take advantage of this time that's given to us. And I hope that everyone's healthy there. Take advantage of this time to spend time with your family, to talk to your family, let them know how you feel, let it off, let it out, and be real with each other, and spend some quality time. It's a great time to do that. It's a great time to get into hobbies, such as making YouTube videos, such as writing music, such as drawing or painting, or learning a new program on the computer, or learning how to sew. These are great times to do things like that. So be creative with it, guys. And I'm telling you, once you do it, it's going to help you, and you're going to be in a good place. So one of the recommendations that I'd like to do is, once you are done eating a nutritious dinner, to kind of help yourself unwind towards the end of the day, and don't watch anything too mega stressful before you go to bed. That's all. Watch something light if you're going to watch TV. Journal in your book if you're going to journal in your book about what happened during the course of the day. Maybe you're reviewing your day and you're just writing about what has happened, or the key points of what has happened in your day. Or maybe you're writing in your journal about things that you wanted to get accomplished and you didn't, so you can get them accomplished tomorrow. So just some wellness tips that I wanted to give you guys. Really appreciate you guys watching TonesTube Meditation Station for Wellness. If you found some of this information to have some value, or if you thought that it was entertaining, click like and subscribe so you could keep on top of the next time that we post wellness videos for you. Thank you. Namaste. Have a good one and stay safe.